Hello and welcome back to Bamboo Batu on YouTube. Thank you again for tuning in. We got a lot of exciting stuff going on in the world of bamboo lately. One of those exciting things is my winter haircut. You can see here, about due for a trim. But that's not why you're here. You're here because we have a new series of videos, which I'm calling Bamboo Cuisine. I got some hot recipes for some delicious bamboo shoot meals. And today I want to tell you about my bamboo curry. And if you love my bamboo videos and bamboo content, please let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Do us a favor. I've been making these videos for a long time. I've been working on my website for years and years and years. There's hundreds of articles there, all kinds of free content. You don't have to pay anything. So we do accept donations, and we do appreciate it when you like our videos and subscribe to the channel. So thank you for that. And let's get on with it. So bamboo curry is a delicious thing. I love making curry. People always want to know how I do it. And I take that as a compliment because it's pretty good curry. And I like making it. So I want to show you how to make it. Every time I make curry, it's a little bit different because I don't have an exact recipe. So if you want like tablespoons and cups and milliliters and things like that, you're not going to get that in this video. But you will get a wonderful introduction to how to make curry. So these are, I think, all the ingredients. I probably don't have all the ingredients here, but these are most of the ingredients. We got some vegetables. Today we're using potatoes and carrots and cauliflower. Those are kind of the main ingredients. And then there's going to be some onion and some bell pepper and some garlic. There's a bay leaf in there. There's a bottle of soy sauce in the back. You can barely see it. And very importantly, right next to my head there, right next to the cauliflower head, is a packet of Thai curry paste. Curry paste is an excellent ingredient, very important. I do sometimes make curry without the paste. I just use the powdered stuff. Not as good. I get a powdered mix, and then I usually have to add more spices and seasoning to it to twist it up a notch. But if you got a good curry paste like this one, I ordered this one online somewhere because we live in a little village of a few hundred people, and you can't find curry paste here. So I had to order it online, which is something I don't generally like to do. But I also had to order my bamboo shoots online. You see the bamboo shoots in the middle there. I had to order those online. So I figured, you know what, as long as I'm having them ship bamboo shoots across the mail, might as well throw in some delicious curry paste. So I think there's a video about that when I unpacked that box, and I was ecstatic. I was so pleased to find what was inside that box. So check that one out. Did I miss anything? I think that's the ingredients. There's a bell pepper there, the green one. It's not a spicy one. It's just a bell pepper. You can use a red bell pepper. You can use red and green. You can even use yellow bell pepper. You know, see what's in season, see what's available. We're not like religious about our ingredients. Did I mention the lemon? The lemon is very important. There's a lemon in the bowl there. Don't forget the lemon. Sometimes I forget the lemon, and then I wish that I hadn't forgotten it. Sometimes I forget cilantro also, and then I'm really regretting that I forgot it. But I think I did remember cilantro at the last minute on this one. And I also remembered coconut milk, which I never forget to put coconut milk in there. Very important ingredient. It's not in the picture, but it's in the recipe. So let's get into it. So start out, put some oil in the pot or the pan. I use a cast iron pan oftentimes. In this case, I used a stainless steel pot. Not a significant difference in my opinion, but use some good cooking ware. You'll be glad you did. So start out by throwing some oil in there. We live in Spain. We use olive oil, although we do have some coconut oil available. If you want to be more authentic with your Asian cuisine, you can go with the coconut oil. If you have a preference for one way or the other, just don't use canola oil. If you use canola oil, I'm going to have to ask you to just unsubscribe. And yeah, we're not going there. So onion and bell pepper to start out with. I get those all sizzled up nice in the oil. Some people add the garlic at this point. I like to save the garlic till later because if the garlic cooks too much, it gets kind of crispy, and we don't like that. So you can maybe put it in later when you're almost done with the browning of the onions and the peppers, or you can add it in even after that, after the broth is going. But yeah, I get this stuff sizzling. There it is. It's sizzling. Like I said, there's a bay leaf in there somewhere. I'm pretty sure you can't see the bay leaf, but it's buried under the onion and the bell pepper. I think I used the whole onion and the whole bell pepper. It's kind of a small green bell pepper that's very common here in Spain. And that sizzles for a while. You get it kind of brownish. Keep an eye on it. Stir it frequently. Kind of caramelize it a little bit if you can do that. But yeah, try not to let it burn. But the flavor improves a little bit when you get it kind of caramelized. So that's a nice thing to try to do. At this point, there's a little bit of blackness in there. Some of the onions got a little bit overcooked, which is not the end of the world, as long as they're not turning overly black. I think what we have there is more like a dark brown. These are dark brown onions. I never burn my onions. At this point, I add the paste. I've had a big spoonful of paste, curry paste. It's hard to know how much paste to add. You kind of have to get familiar with your particular brand of curry paste. And I like it pretty spicy. So I try to err on the side of putting in a whole lot of paste because that's where all the flavor is. So I get a big scoop on a spoon, like a big soup spoon, and like fill up that soup spoon real good. So it's like something big, like the size of a golf ball, maybe. I guess that's a pretty good estimate to how much I put in there. And then you might need to add a little more oil as you're sizzling the onions. A little oil never hurts. And then you stir that in real nicely. And at this point, you could add the garlic, or you could wait. So I stir that in, and then once that's all stirred in nicely, you add some broth. Once you get the broth in there, that helps to dissolve the paste too, because it doesn't quite. It's a little bit chunky still. You might even want to spin it around with a whisk to get the lumps out, because you don't want lumpy curry. But I don't think I did that in this case. I just stirred it vigorously, and it worked out fine. It looks to me like we got some potatoes in there too. The potatoes went in already. As for broth, you can use broth out of a box or some kind of pre-made broth. They're usually pretty good. I get a vegetable broth because I'm primarily a vegetarian, although I make exceptions from time to time. But I'm not going to mind. I'm not going to purchase meat broth. So I get a veggie broth. You can also get like seafood broth, or you can just add water. If you don't have broth, add water and just salt it up, and the curry paste brings enough flavor in there. The broth isn't that crucial, but it's good. It adds a little bit more if you have a nice broth. Another thing we do is we save our water when we cook our pasta and we boil our potatoes. The potato broth is really good after you boil potatoes. Drain off the water, and that's some good stuff in there. If you use it within like 3 or 4 or 5 days or something, keep it in the fridge. You got a really good like base for your soup. That's my inside tip on reusing your potato broth. We also reuse our pasta broth, like I said, because we're really into the gluten. We like eating the gluten. We love our gluten, so we save our gluten water from the leftover that's left over after we boil our pasta, and that's also a good. It kind of thickens up the soup a little bit. If you're not into gluten, then you're not going to do that. But that's how we roll. We like to reuse our resources, so we save our water. Some people think it's kind of weird and like super hippie, but that's how we roll. What else? We got that cooking. It's looking really good. It's almost lunchtime here, and I'm having fun looking at these pictures, bringing back fond memories of recent dinner I had. So I threw in some carrots, chopped the carrots nice. You can see I cut them into little rings, then cut them in half. Actually, I cut it in half first, and then I cut them into rings. So it'd be really hard to do it the other way around. Anyway, how you cut your carrots is up to you, but there they go. I had the potatoes first because they're pretty hard and kind of big, so they need longer to cook. Carrots also need a while to cook. They're pretty crunchy. If you like crunchy carrots in your soup and your curry, you can add them later. The timing is something you can play with as far as when you add what ingredient. But I like to put the big chunky things in first, give them a little more time to cook. And then at this point, I start chopping up my garlic. Here's another inside tip for you. We like to keep our own special garlic board. So when we cut our garlic, we do it on this board. And then if we want to slice an apple or something like that, we get a different board and slice our apples. Otherwise, your sliced apple ends up having like a hint of garlic flavor on it. And that's something I've heard people complain about. So the solution to that was getting the designated garlic board. So this is where we cut our garlic. Works out great. We cut other things on there too, like cheese, or you'll see. I think I cut something else on this board too. But we keep it separate. So if you're cutting like fruit and things like that, we have a different board. A couple boards. We got a lot of cutting boards. Unfortunately, this is not a bamboo board. This was an emergency purchase apparently, but it's worked out well for our garlic. The other boards are bamboo, I can assure you. So chop the garlic into little bits, plop that in the pot, stir it up, and then now it's time for the cauliflower. I've dumped a big old bunch of cauliflower. It's crazy how much cauliflower is in a head of cauliflower. If you have a head of broccoli and a head of cauliflower, they look like the same size. But you start cutting it up, and you realize that cauliflower is packed in there, super dense. It's an amazing thing. It's a wonder of nature. I love it, and it's super nutritious and adds a little different color into the mix. And it's cauliflower season over here, so it worked out well. It's a nice addition to the curry. You can put in whatever vegetables you want, really, but this is what we did on this particular occasion, and it's working out great so far. As you can see, I think we may have needed to add some more broth, and so we got everything submerged. We got it boiling. It's going to boil for another 10 or 15 minutes or so. The potatoes and the carrots have already had a chance to boil, so by the time the cauliflower goes in, doesn't need so long. Depending how crunchy you like your cauliflower, cook it longer or shorter. Then you can just let it simmer. The longer it simmers, the flavors just like settle in there, and they become more and more deep and complex and satisfying. So keep an eye on that. And don't forget the bamboo. So I got my bamboo shoots. I chopped them into these little rings. There's a lot of different ways to chop your bamboo. I just kind of kept it simple because I'd been cooking in the kitchen for about 45 minutes by now, and I was like, I'm just going to keep it simple. So I just cut these little rings, and then I plop that into the pot. And then I didn't think they need very long to cook, so I wanted to keep that crunchiness. And they're already rinsed and pre-washed and pre-cooked, so that there's none of those natural cyanides or anything like that in the bamboo, which can sometimes happen with very fresh bamboo, depending on the species and so on. We've got other videos if you want to go into those details, but this was some stuff I ordered online, like I said, and it was ready to eat. And I just wanted to cook it up a little bit and get some flavor in there. So it didn't cook very long. I think it simmered for another 10 minutes or so. And then one of the very last steps, I add the coconut milk. The coconut milk, I stir it in there. I don't like to cook my coconut milk. Maybe it's just me. I'm not sure what the real science is on cooking coconut milk, but I usually add it at the end and I stir it in and keep it hot. But I don't like it to boil for a long time. Something about boiling of the coconut cream doesn't seem right to me. But sometimes I've accidentally done it and left the flame on, left the stove on, and it's boiled my coconut milk and it hasn't caused a catastrophe. But I add it at the end, and then around that time I turn off the stove so it's still nice and hot. The soup, with all those potatoes and carrots and stuff, it's going to retain the heat for a long time, and the coconut milk dissipates into the broth, and then you end up with a delicious creamy mix. At which point we add the lemon juice. Man, that looks good. We add the lemon juice, and it looks like that green stuff. That's the yummy green stuff that I love, the cilantro. That's got to go on there. You could add that later. You can put it on the table, and everybody can add their own amount of cilantro. I know some people aren't into cilantro. Supposedly 33% of the population claims that cilantro tastes like soap. So you don't want people having soapy soup. So you can add that on the side. In our household, we all love cilantro. So I just dumped it in there, keep it simple. Everybody gets a scoop of curry, and we're all happy. I forgot to mention there was a pot next to this. You can see it up there in the upper left corner. That's got the rice in it. Any kind of rice, basmati rice, jasmine rice, brown rice, wild rice, picket rice. We like to do rice. So there's a pot of rice over there, probably 2 cups of rice. And that's definitely an important part of the curry meal. Sometimes you put tofu in there. Tofu would have gone in early on, around the time the potatoes went in. So it cooks for a long time and soaks up a lot of flavor. In this instance, we had enough going on. We didn't need the tofu, but could have done that. And so that's pretty much it. Unfortunately, I was so eager to dive into that pot of curry. And it was super good. I remember it was really good. I'm flashing back to it right now. It was good. So I did not take a picture of the final product, the finished presentation on the table in the bowl. And I apologize for that. But this is what it looked like. It doesn't look amazing in this picture. It looks like it is what it is, but it was delicious. You can see the the bay leaf there now. You thought I forgot to add the bay leaf, but now you can see there it is. It was in there from the beginning, I assure you. It adds a hint of flavor. And I think that was everything. Soy sauce, did I mention soy sauce? Soy sauce is added like near the end also, or along the way. Salt and soy sauce definitely are important. There's a bit of saltiness in the curry paste, but you got to add the salt. Otherwise, I don't think I added any seasoning. It was pretty spicy as it was. We've got some crazy hot sauce, this green stuff that we bought that we like to get because it's crazy, crazy hot. And so we had that on the table for people that wanted to take it up even higher. But it was pretty spicy as it was. I really liked it. Our whole family likes it spicy, so that was good. If you don't like it spicy, you might reconsider this recipe altogether. But you can also just use a smaller amount of curry at the beginning and then add more soy sauce or something to get a little flavor from the soy sauce and the salt and all the veggies and the broth and the lemon and the coconut milk. You get a pretty good flavor going. I think that's everything. I think that's it. I think that was how I made the curry. And I make curry like that on a fairly regular basis. Every time it's a little bit different. Every time, maybe not every time, but I often get different types of curry paste. That bag curry lasts about 4 or 5 or 6 sessions. So that's pretty good. When it runs out, I'll probably get like a red curry or something different to change it up. I do not remember what variety this was. I think it was Panang curry. That's what it was. It was Panang curry. So that's a region very close to Thailand in the far north of Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken. You can check it on Wikipedia. Let me know in the comments if I got that wrong. And there you go. So any other questions? This is what I had the next day because we had some leftover bamboo. Chopped it up, marinated it in some soy sauce, some honey, some garlic, and some ginger, and sprinkled it with some salt and let that soak overnight. The next day, sizzled it up in a pan, and we had a little appetizer, a little bamboo snack appetizer. Gotta love that. And I think that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. I hope I didn't go off into too many unrelated non sequitur tangents. And let us know again in the comments if you got questions or suggestions or corrections or anything like that. We love to hear from you. We love bamboo. Hope you do too. And celebrating bamboo from now until the end. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.